Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Stormwater Board meeting for Town of Cedar Lake on July 12th of 2022. If you'd please join me in singing the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You want to sing it? No. Okay. This is why I hear that. All right. Getting us started today, can we start with roll call, please, Wendy?
Margaret, on behalf of Wendy.
I have my apologies.
Mr. Lissick.
Here.
Mr. Conlon.
Here.
Mr. Concello.
Here.
Mr. Oliphant.
Here.
Mr. Salatas.
Present.
Mr. Bozeman.
Here.
Mr. Carnahan.
Here.
And Margaret on behalf of Wendy.
All right, good evening. And getting down to the minutes, did everyone on the board have a chance to review them? From June 14th? Okay. Can I make a motion to pass the minutes from June 14th?
I'll second that motion.
We need it first.
Oh,
Yeah,
he said I thought
he
he said.
can't make the motion
I'll
unless
second the motion.
there's only two.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the minutes from June 14th meeting.
I second the motion.
Mr. Lissick.
Yes.
Mr. Conlon.
Yes.
Mr. Concello.
Here, yes.
All right, moving on to old business, we have drainage issues at 9080 West 129th Place.
Nothing new to report on this. We know we have to skip that middle parcel because they're not willing to grant an easement. So I don't have any information about easements from lot 221 or 223. So we're going to move.
Have they been notified, or?
I believe they've been spoken to. I think Tim spoke to them.
Okay.
So, yeah, until we get those signed, we won't move forward.
Okay.
I don't know where it's at.
That empty lot, Don, that's behind his house is now up for sale.
221?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was saying, I think he knew somebody, I think he said his father-in-law might be moving there or something.
Really?
Something like that.
It's been for
Some
sale
family
for a while,
member.
I think.
Yeah, it's owned by another guy in the subdivision.
Yeah, so he's,
So it's still owned by that other guy. It was on a Metal Arc, so.
so I don't know if that,
Tim said that one wouldn't be a problem. And he talked to the new one on the west, and he said that one wouldn't be a problem either, but as far as I know, we don't have anything signed yet.
alright.
Okay, I can just keep it on old business. Moving on to update items, we have Chuck Becker's property at 7513 West 136th Avenue.
Again, nothing new on this one, minus what was presented at the last meeting. It's still just over a six-figure project, even kind of stripping it down to the bare minimum. And that's certainly not getting done this year. That being said, with that one, we'd also need two easements, one from Chuck and one from an eastern neighbor. There's already an easement on the rear lot, and there's already an easement on the southern lot to get down to 136th Place. So, from a project standpoint, it's ready, pending funding and pending if we want to go after those two easements. So, that's where it's going.
I mean, do we just keep it on as far as update items and as it moves forward and then projects become available, because it's not going to be able to jump on anything until.
Yeah, we can certainly, you know, if it's a favorable project pending funding, then we certainly can proceed to getting the easement. So if there is funding available, ready to go, we're not waiting. Like I said, it's two small easements from Chuck and his eastern neighbor, who is Mr. Osan. we have easements everywhere else. It's a tight corridor regardless of how close those houses are, and there's some pretty mature trees back there. But that's what we would need that would hold us up if we got to go ahead with funding. So, I think that would require a motion from the board to have staff or town attorney prepare those documents and us, I guess.
That would be something I would not recommend the board do until we know that there's going to be funding.
I agree.
Yeah, and there's no consequence that they, you know what I mean, as far as funding available to pursue that project.
The town's currently going through its general fund budget. As we speak now, it's been ongoing. We'll have that wrapped up hopefully within a month or two, and then we'll start tackling the utilities, imagining stormwater, sewer, water. Those would be the three. And unfortunately with stormwater right now, with some of the current ongoing projects, there may still be yet some variables within there that may affect the stormwater budget, given some surprises we found in at least one of the most recent projects in the parish.
Okay, so maybe just keep it as an update item and keep it top of mind for meetings. That's all I can tell you right now, correct? All right.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to Schubert and Dodge Street.
That one's kind of on a back burner right now.
Yeah.
We have to start doing more investigation into it, but everybody's so busy right now, it's not a higher priority, I guess, but it's on the list, put it that way.
Yeah.
Because we know we can't get a camera down it, so we may be potholing more, invasive methods to figure out where it goes and what condition it's in.
Good. All right, keep that on updates, update items. Moving on to Woods of Cedar Creek.
I have no update on this one.
I have been working on updating the numbers and some email addresses in our Excel spreadsheet of those that need to be, that we need to obtain easements from. But from what I understand, we won't be doing that until we know for sure funding is ready. So, but it'll be ready to go and make all those contacts once we get the green light.
All right, thank you.
I bet you may have people in the audience here who there.
Don't you think it would be better to wait until public comment?
Up to you.
All right, moving on to 9402 West 141st Place.
Oh, this is the gentleman that came before public comment at the last meeting. This is kind of at the southern, called the U, kind of at Cottage Grove, 141st Place, just south of 141st Ave and the Beacon Central entrance. The inner part of the southeast radius of this U, there's some standing water down in there. So we went out there and looked at it, and there is a pipe coming out of that depression, and then there is a pipe kind of coming down that daylights into Cedar Crest Park across the street. Looking at some older aerials and some older contours, there appeared to have been a roadside swale on the north side at one point. And it seems rather clear that once upon a time these things kind of connected on the north side and turned south. We think somebody filled in that roadside swale once upon a time in the last couple of years and buried kind of the intersecting point of those two pipes, essentially an L. I thought this would be in the packet, but it didn't make it. Essentially, you can see the depression over here. There's essentially a pipe that comes this way, and then another one that crosses down into the park and goes south. The gentleman who came, he does have a new concrete driveway right there, which I'm not sure if there was any driveway there prior to that. The aerials kind of make it hard to see.
I don't think there was.
Yeah.
The house was abandoned for a while.
Yeah, so there's a brand new concrete driveway across the east-west pipe now. But where those two pipes and where that old ditch likely came into kind of confluence there, that entire area is actually filled in and higher than the road right now. So it's I think an HDPE pipe heading west and then a pretty old CMP pipe heading south. We ran a level survey on it and it's sort of got pitch on it. It's back pitched by a little 4 or 5 inches. But that would be my best guess what happened because the contours show that it does want to head south towards 142nd. But I don't know when it was filled in. It's well within the right-of-way. The right-of-way in there is actually quite large. It's a 60-foot right-of-way, which is kind of rare for some of these older neighborhoods. So the right-of-way extends quite far into the gentleman's property. I don't know if it was filled when he did the driveway, but the pipes want to connect and they're clearly buried.
Yeah, I don't remember that little hole or any retention pond, whatever it is. I don't remember that being there a couple of years ago until they redid the house.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you can overlay 98 contours on it and it's not there. And there's a clear ditch that was there.
I don't know if they filled it in.
It's definitely not there anymore.
Hope that all that water would pool up on the corner. I don't know.
It would. I mean, that's the lowest part of the roadway. It does pitch down from the south, so if it's not getting to the cross culvert, it's going to sit in it.
You could tell, you'd see it, it's still wet.
Yeah, it's wet all the
It's
time.
all the time.
So, I mean, we can excavate where we think the pipes used to come together and slap a manhole in there and tie it all together, or reestablish the ditch line, or
Yeah,
the gentleman has a point. I don't know who did this though.
I know.
It shouldn't have been done. So, yeah, I don't know. I sent the information to Eric and Tim, and we can handle it from Public Works end or dig it back out and see what we find.
Yeah, I know maybe we should go out there with him to show him that.
Yeah.
It's really good, and then he can make a decision on what he wants to do with that.
I mean, one of the pipes is plastic, so we're not gonna find it in the metal detector.
Yeah.
The old one, CMP, I mean, not great shape, so it may even warrant ripping that out, but we just paved that road last year.
Yeah.
So, good time. It's a really nice new driveway, give them that.
Yeah, they remodeled the house, it looks really nice.
Yeah, it looks really nice. So, that's kind of where that is. If we can add it to Public Works list and dig it out and see what we find.
Yeah.
We got a pretty good idea where the pipes go. It's connecting 2 dots.
Do you have time?
Maybe wait. That's a good question. Maybe later on in the,
I mean, the pipes may be functioning to an extent.
yeah, I mean,
Because it's not like it's flooding, it's just holding probably 6 inches of water right now. So, not pressing, but
no, but I mean, it should probably get.
should be fixed.
I mean, it's not, I don't think it'll ever make it to the house, 'cause it just goes into that little.
Yeah, I mean,
pond.
he's 2 feet up too.
Yeah.
At least.
What about opening the ditch back up?
I think it's filled in clear across the entire frontage.
Yeah,
A lot of people have done that in these old subdivisions.
Oh, yeah.
100% right on that.
So I mean, really, I mean, yeah, he's actually higher than the road by a couple inches, so if you know, since this road's actually newly paved and newly crowned, it's going to just be right up against the edge, and
Destroy that road.
which isn't a good thing either.
Because Tyler and I just, on the other side, we just did the same thing. We opened up because the pipe was broke and going around down on 141st. We redug the ditch line, so. But the guy came out and he was kind of watching, so he's like, well, now, this water from across the street's coming over here, and it's because they filled the ditch line.
I mean, we can reestablish it to a point. We can set that manhole with an open casting and drop it a couple inches below the road, at least get the water off the road. I mean, water and roads don't mix well when you can't get it off, so, yeah. Like I said, it's not pressing, but it should be done.
I mean, you're not gonna get to it this month.
Probably not, no.
But if they keep it on update items,
Yeah.
and I wanna go look out there and look at it.
Yeah.
I can send you a bunch of pictures too, if you yeah. I'm 99% sure it's what happened. I don't know when or how, but I think it's happened sooner than you think. Last couple of years, if that.
Yeah, so keep that on update items, please. I did go out to the, oh my gosh, the cracked pipe over in, gosh, what's it called? I can't remember.
Could be anything.
What is it?
That could be anywhere.
It was the big, 24-inch HDPE over in.
Lindsay.
Lindsay, yeah.
Okay.
I used to live there, jeez. Anyways, I did go out there, I talked to a couple of the owners, they were very happy with everything that was, planted and the grass was growing, to the extent of the drought that we were going through. So they were happy, they were putting up their fences, so kudos on that project. Moving on to public works projects, related to our buddy Jeff over at 14619 Bell Place. Any update, any conversations related to that? So kind of how we left the last time is, he was supposed to be reaching out to NIPSCO for some locating services. If that took place, we don't know. That is on his private property, and Wendy did reach out to NIPSCO and 811 to figure out if there was anything there. It was not able to happen, but this is on his property. So we're putting it in his court, waiting on him. I'd say just keep that on public works projects as of right now. Any comments?
Nope.
All right, moving on to 146 in Rear Road.
This one was brought up, I believe, maybe 2 meetings ago. So this is a kind of future potential public works project, winter if they have time, essentially reestablishing a ditch line on the north side of 146 to get it to an existing manhole that'll turn it southwest. So we think we have grade, it just really needs to be dug out and potentially a driveway culvert replaced or cleaned.
It's done,
Is it?
but not done.
Okay.
Well, it's actually, half of it's going one way, half of it's going the other, so we gotta reestablish it, so it goes
All west?
to the culvert pipe.
Okay.
Because she came out and said it would actually flow the opposite way. So Tyler started digging it the other way, and then,
Digging it east?
yeah.
Yeah, we don't have a cross culvert that way.
We walked it, we even were considering going across.
You could send it that way, but there's some pretty big bellies on that region
Yeah.
line.
Because, I mean, the road is pretty messed up, we thought about just
Yeah.
doing it that way, but, I mean, if it'll all flow the opposite way, then he can reestablish the ditch. We were supposed to do that this week, so,
Okay.
this week or next. I know, we got some other stuff going on, so.
Okay, keep that on public works projects.
I mean, the water's flowing through there, it's just,
Not sitting there anymore at least?
half of it's one way, and then half of it's the other, and then, yeah, so.
All right, thank you.
It'll be done by next month, Ryan, so. Okay.
Moving on to new business. Anything?
Just Bryan Street, we have to
Oh,
do 30 feet, yeah, we're fixing that.
Bryant Street?
Bryan Street, yeah.
south of 145th,
Yeah,
South
Mead,
Shore.
yeah. Mead hit we have all the stuff, we're just waiting for the mini.
Perfect.
Dan from PJX has got a mini, and we're gonna go over there and fix it.
Awesome.
And then
NIPSCO bored a new gas service to a new house at the corner there
Yeah.
and decided to crush an existing HDPE pipe and then just leave it.
Leave it open.
And just leave the plates, leave the
Yeah.
cones, and leave it for like 9 months and never come back.
We mentioned it to Kubiak months ago, and he said he would find out exactly if me or NIPSCO were gonna
It's
do it.
NIPSCO.
But we just got to the point where like, we were gonna do it anyway.
We sent an email out to Dean with NIPSCO 2 Fridays ago, and he forwarded it, since it's not a public improvement issue, he forwarded it on to their business section, and I haven't heard who yet. Because it's just a general email he forwarded it to. And he said, please work this out ASAP, so I don't know, it just went into the new scope black hole. So I'll follow up with it again. We effectively said that we would fix it, but we expected them to basically pay for the material.
Yeah, I think that's what Tim's trying to do now, is try to give them, pay for at least a little of it, something.
Yeah, I mean, they clearly crushed it, so.
Yeah, and it's crushed actually pretty far down, so, I mean, we gotta pull out at least 30 feet, so.
Yeah, that was an existing pipe before we did the South Shore project a couple of years ago. But there were certain areas behind the curb line that were too low to pick up, so we left it. That's a 15-inch pipe, it doesn't take a lot of drainage area, I don't think. But it's there and it jogs out of the right of way, so we left it. So, see what they think.
All right. If we could just add that to Public Works projects for an update next time. All right, open it up to public comment. Please approach the podium and state your name and your address. Yes, sir.
Brian Tiemans, 6814 West 142nd Place, for Woods of Cedar Creek. I have a question. You have to get easement rights for the people so you can go on their property and do their project. Can you tell me what lots, how far that you need easement rights? If I remember correctly, you had put a manhole in on the north side of lot 5. Is that correct?
It's on the north, on the south side of lot 5. In between 5 and 6.
Between 5 and 6?
Yeah, the terminal manhole.
Okay, so then you actually would need the easement rights of 6, 7, 8, and 13, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, just wanted to make sure, because then we can lobby these people. Is there anything else that we, as a community, can lobby to make sure you have all the information ahead of time? Anything else that we can do to help? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
First off, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Well, state your name and your address.
Everybody will know my address. My name is Julianne Gibbons. My address is 6425 145th West Street, the corner of Weber and 145th.
So what brings you in this evening?
I'm very upset and very disappointed, and I feel this is the worst mistake I have ever made in my life, buying this house and moving here. There's a lot of things going on with the house that will be addressed with the former owner. However, I called Tim 4 weeks ago, I think it was, and he called me back and he came out. The road in front of my house is splitting. There's a pipe there that goes underneath that road. All the asphalt's coming up, chunks of it. Water sits there days and days and days, and they splash it on my driveway. Tim went across the street, the culvert, they built a new house kitty corner from me. The culvert isn't even there in front of their house. The one across the street from me, it's pretty small. The pipe is half clogged. He told me and there's lots of water issues in my backyard. myself and my neighbor behind me, apparently they have been fighting this for about 15, 20 years to get something done. I literally have a river that runs through my backyard. There's broken pipes in my yard. There's bubbling that happens in my yard. There's dig a hole and there's no ground underneath of it. He was supposed to come out the following week with some man that I don't know who this man is or anything. He's somebody that's supposed to be so great with these things. He was in Iceland, if that gives you a clue.
That's him.
Okay? They never came.
And this man that was saying this was Tim?
Yes.
Okay.
And my neighbor was there at the same time because she was talking about the issues, because she has lived there 15 years. And he was supposed to come out with this man and go through the pipes or look for pipes or something. I'm told this was a valley at one time with a river running through it, and somebody filled it in. It was an unbuildable property, and then all of a sudden somebody filled it in and built property on it. And we've all had a river problem back there.
What's the address again? I'm sorry, Julie.
Yeah.
6425 West 145th Avenue. I specifically asked people involved in this prior to buying this house if there was any type of water issue, and I was told no by both homeowners. And there is definitely a water issue that has been going on for years. I don't know what else I'm supposed to say or not say, but this is a catastrophe for me.
When did you move in?
November. To a house that I gave them extra days and they destroyed on the inside. Somebody has to help me. This was supposed to be my forever home. I've been an RN for 45 years, and last year almost killed me. And when I walked in this house and saw the disaster inside this house, after I gave them extra time, didn't charge them a penny, they were going to make it perfect for me, so all I had to do was move my stuff in. And there was holes in walls and doors ripped and holes in decks that were covered up and outlets that don't even have wires going to them. And I'm just beside myself. I'm about to the point where I got enough money left to probably kill myself, because then I got enough money to bury me, because I'm wiped out financially. I need help. I need you guys to help me.
So Ms. Gibbons, I am the Iceland guy.
Okay.
First I've been
have
hearing
fun?
about it, so I know Tim was on vacation, I was on vacation, now he's on vacation, so when he gets back, I'll go out to your property and look over with him. Like I said, it's the first time I've heard about it. So.
I can show you where broken pipes are on my property. And supposedly, when all this was filled in, there was some big pipe put in there by the Army Corps of Engineers.
Okay.
And that pipe is crushed, it's gone. My neighbors have actually dug out a whole lot of their backyard to make some place for this water to go, so it don't end up in my yard.
Okay. I can see by the topography on the screen that I can see potentially an issue. So, a lot of these older subdivisions do have very old piping systems that we don't even know about.
Well, I can show you where the crushed pipes are, because
Yeah,
I went to
they're
the...
drain tiles and they can be quite old and fragile.
They're pipes,
Yeah,
plastic pipes.
they're plastic.
They're plastic, they're PVC.
Tyler and I actually a year or two ago, we redug that ditch line where they built that new house, coming from the horse farm, and it's supposed to go, like 90s across the street into her yard, and then it's supposed to go out and then like travel out into that ditch line.
Across the street,
Yeah.
across Wheeler.
There's pink paint all over the ground over there, so somebody was.
I know, I could tell you, I'm the Gladys Kravitz of the neighborhood because I don't work.
Yeah.
And I know, what do you wanna know who was there? It was them insulation people that were on Morris. They were there for 2 days.
Yeah, 'cause they filled that ditch line up now when they built that house, so I don't know if that's gonna be an issue too.
Oh, it's an issue.
'Cause they put a culvert
I didn't
line
have
in their
this
driveway.
problem. There was water that was coming over the road, but the road was intact when I bought this house. Now there's chunks missing out of it.
Where's the new house at? Case Martin?
Right, you're right, right
Okay.
there. Yeah, right there. And then, as soon as it like, almost looks like Colfax is extended now, 'cause their driveway's even with Colfax.
Yeah.
And they did put a culvert pipe over, going under the driveway. Tyler and I have been watching this for the last couple of months, and it has a little bit of a ditch line, and then right when it gets like in between her property and her neighbors, now it starts to, it's like they filled it in or.
I went and
pushed in
walked
with
it myself
grinding.
because Tim took me over there and he's like, well, let's go look. And I mean, so we went over there and on the woman across from me, who's not real tidy with her yard and her weed whacking abilities, it's filling in. I mean, there's like this much
Yeah,
and this deep. And it don't even go the length of her house.
Yeah, we've talked to her about that before to try to keep that clean, 'cause there's riprap in there too.
Well, now we got raccoons that are coming from the Halloween house on the new built one. The Halloween house, which I've deemed it, because it's very gas. But they're coming from there, going across that woman's property across the street, going into the hole, the tube that's coming towards my house. And then I don't know where that tube goes. I think it goes that way.
I think so, I don't know.
Because there's a drain over there too, where on Weber Road, there's no road there, there ain't a road, it's some gravel.
Yeah.
The people that live there are bringing in gravel, are bringing in things to fill the road, because they're busting their cars left and right. There was a road there when I bought the property, there's no road there now. And by that drain on the side of my house, I saw 3 more holes that I don't see no bottom to them. So is my house gonna fall on the ground? I don't know,
'Cause Don.
but I don't have no money to
It's almost like
pay.
it
I'm
goes like on an
giving you
angle.
people all my
There's
money.
a basin in front of her house, right by the road.
Yep.
And then it goes like, I think it goes diagonal, it's supposed to go underneath.
Well, there's a significant difference between the 98 concerts and the 2018 concerts, which
Yeah.
is unnerving. This house was built prior to, I think, 1970, correct?
My house?
Yeah.
No, my house was built like 2000 or 202 or something like that. Supposedly that was, I'm being told that was non-buildable land till 1997, from 1914. In 1997, somebody filled it in and put 2 houses there.
That makes sense why the concerts are so different.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, let me look into Tim. And does Tim have your information?
He's been to my house, yes, he
Okay.
does.
When he gets back from vacation, I will walk it out there with him, and we'll get a game plan, see what's going on.
Because I mean, I've got 2 big dogs, I can't even let my dogs out.
Yeah,
You know, it's a mud pit out there almost all the time. This isn't fair to me. I bought this house intact and fine. You know, if I was a millionaire, I would walk away from it and leave it and go someplace else. This is the worst mistake I've ever made in my life.
I mean, I'm pretty sure too, we jetted that culvert pipe going across the street.
It goes across because I look in that hole and watch the water come from over there.
We jetted it, because I remember the previous owner was complaining about it. And we went over there and jetted it, and then we took it upon ourselves to reestablish the ditch line because all that water's flowing from the horse farm, we think.
It is.
And it was blocked up right on the corner, so once we opened up that ditch line, the water started to flow.
And another thing is, in this house of mine, it appears when it rains, and a few days after it's rained, I spent $750 to have Roto-Rooter come out. And because when my washer would drain, my toilet would bubble. And the sink in the bathroom starts filling up. And the tub don't go down. So I called Roto-Rooter out. The guy was out at my house for 5 hours and ended up saying he basically got nothing. Maybe a little tiny soft clog. He had only been on the job like 4 weeks, so he really didn't know much. But anyways, and call back if there's a problem. Okay, there was no problem the next day. The day after that, here's the toilet bubbling again. And so I call him back. Some guy above him comes. He's there 2 hours. Now I've given these guys $750. They've been in my house for 7 hours. And the final result was, it's the town. Call the town. It ain't us. There's nothing wrong with your stuff. Call the town. When it rains, the sewer pipes cannot take the water back way far enough, fast enough, or something to that effect. And I suggest, ma'am, you don't wash clothes or flush the toilet or use the sink or the bath when it rains. I said, really?
That's a service tap issue.
$750 for that advice? Really? I could have figured that out for free. I'm not a wizard, but I am a nurse that's practiced for 45 years. I'm kind of smart. And I'm not trying to be shitty, but this is past my scope of understanding how I could get a dump like this, and nobody cares.
Yeah, we'll look at it.
Yeah.
What you're describing sounds like you have an issue with your sewer tap.
Well, what about the water in the back, where my shed's got no soil underneath?
Well, that could be a very different, if you have a crack in your sewer tap and you have that much water sitting in your yard, and
No,
that's
when
draining
it rained,
Yeah,
before the people behind me dug this thing out, we had waves. There was like this much
yeah, but if
water.
you're taking in rainwater into your sewer tap
Oh, I don't know
and
about
filling it
that.
up, that can be a problem with what you're talking about. You're gonna get backups, stuff like that, and it could be very clean, like a Roto-Rooter guy would say. It's just if it's cracked and it's taken in groundwater, it's a problem. It's a problem for our system as well. So, I mean, it's a relatively newer house, so we should have a decent sewer tap card for it. We can check on that, see where it's at, maybe camera it if we can see it.
I think that's what Tim said you were gonna do,
I wouldn't camera it, they would camera it. Yeah.
whoever. But
Yeah, do you have a basement or no?
nope, I have a crawl space,
Good.
which, by the way, I found out has 2 sump pumps in it. Why does a house have 2 sump pumps? Never even knew about a sump pump, but if you gotta have 2, I'd say there's probably a water problem.
Probably.
And why, not even a month after I lived there, I had to have a new bladder put on the well, and there was already 2 of them sitting down there that they didn't haul out yet. So that was 4 bladders in 20 years that have been replaced on this property.
I imagine they've had problems before you purchased the house.
I imagine too, and I will be looking into that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'll look at it when Tim gets back. I'll talk to him when he gets back and we'll run out there and see what we can see.
I would appreciate it. He also talked to me something about me and the woman behind me, her name's Lori, that there's no access to get back there. So, we would have to take 5 feet of their property and 5 feet of your property, or maybe 10 feet of their property and 10 feet of your property, And I said, well, then, basically, I have a drive-through restaurant, because people can just drive by my property is only from here to there.
No, it would only, we wouldn't take your property to an easement if we needed to install something. So you'd still have it, we would just have access. It wouldn't be for
What about
roads.
putting up a fence?
You can put up a fence, if we ever need access, you would need to take it down.
Yeah,
How am I gonna take down a fence?
yeah.
Fence
I have 2 dogs.
I know.
I have to have a fence.
Well, we'll cross that bridge when we have to.
Okay.
If we can figure out a fix, then if we need easements, then we'll ask you for them.
Do I give you that property, or you buy it from me?
It would only be basically a grant of an easement, so it would just be a portion of your property that would be, basically flagged, if you wanna call it that, for a specific use. And it would be a stormwater use, so it'd be a stormwater easement. You would still own the property, we would just have legal right to access whatever we put in to maintain it.
So I would probably, if I put a fence up, have to put it over here, so I'm not on your stuff.
No, you could still put in a fence, obviously you couldn't put posts if we have a pipe there or something like that. But if we ever needed to get in there to, say, clean it out, and we needed to get through a fence or landscaping, it would be your responsibility to take it down. Well, we would take it down, but you need to put it back up.
Well, that's kinda hard at 64 years old and lots of physical ailments, to be putting up a fence.
Like I said, yeah, let's get a grasp on what's going on first, and if we need to go that route, then we'll go that route.
Okay. Thank
Okay?
you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right. If there's no other comments, we will adjourn tonight. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.